Hi everyone, my name is Satyaam Raha. Welcome back. So we have already learned what a perceptron is and how it is related to logistic regression. Now in this video, let us learn about the multi-layered perceptron. In short, or most commonly known as the neural network. So till now we have learned perceptron where we had a single layer, like the input layer, right? And the output layer will always be present. But now we'll be learning something which consists of more than one layers. Okay, so there will be additional layers to the input layer and the output layer. So that is nothing but the multi-layered perceptron. The name itself, multi-layered perceptron. So more than one layer will be present in that. In short, we know that as the neural network, most commonly known as. So let us first understand with a diagram how MLP or multi-layered perceptron looks like, and then we'll understand why is it required in the first place. So let us see the diagram. So I hope my screen is visible. Let us draw a neural network. So as usual, we have the input layer. I'll not explain it much because I think you are already well aware of the notation till now. So let us draw 3 neurons. Okay, let me just draw it more carefully with a different color. Okay. So let us draw it as a fully connected neural network like this. Next, let us draw 2 more neurons. Finally, 1 neuron. Okay, so this is nothing but the input layer, as you already know, and this is nothing but the output layer, and these 2 layers are the hidden layers. Okay, so this is the notation. So in a neural network, I will not use the term MLP. I'll use neural network because it is most commonly used. Okay, so even in a neural network, we have the input layer and the output layer. Along with that, we have some hidden layers. Okay, why is it called hidden? Because as a like a black box, if you imagine it like a black box, so there is input going inside, there is output coming out. Inside, what is happening, that is not visible from the outside, right? So that is why it is called the hidden layers. Whatever is going on inside, it is hidden. Okay, the input will only the user will only provide the input and they will get some output. Whatever is going on inside this is called hidden. This is hidden layer. Okay, so here we have 2 hidden layers, this one and this one. These 2 layers are the hidden layers, and these things are called as the neurons. Okay, so you see, here one problem is there with deep learning. When we have a neural network, we have multiple hidden layers. What will happen is the complexity of the entire network is so much more that it tends to overfit. Okay, the model is always tending to overfitting. That is a problem with deep learning. So we must be very careful. Okay, underfit is something which is very rare when it comes to deep learning, but overfitting is very normal. Okay, so you should be, or we should be very careful when we train a model, when we actually build a model in deep learning, that it do not overfit. Okay, there are many ways to stop overfitting. I'll talk about all those things afterwards, but right now just understand, neural network tends to overfit very easily. Okay, because of the complexity, because it has so many layers. You can understand, this is a simple neural network with 2 hidden layers. We can have thousands of hidden layers. Okay, so you can just imagine the number of neurons that will be present. Okay, and why it overfits, you will understand. Right now, if you do not have any idea, just stay with me. When I will show examples hands-on, then you will understand it better, why overfitting will happen. Okay, now before going further, let us understand one more thing. Okay, let us understand one more thing, that is why this neural network was necessary, why perceptron was not enough. Number one thing is, the number one reason is because of the brain. Okay, it's a simulation of the brain. Okay, our brain has the neural net that is very similar, okay, to this neural network that is being that is built. Okay, so since the scientists were actually very much impressed with how the brain was working in the first place, like there were so many neurons in our brain that that transferred signals from one neuron to another using something called as axons and dendrites, if you remember from biological science. So entire neural network, entire deep learning was actually impressed from that particular neural net of our brain. Okay, that was one reason. That was the primary reason, the biological inspiration. And the second reason is the complex functions. Suppose we have a function, because you see the input and output, ultimately in machine learning also, what we did is we found out a function which could map the input to the output, right? We could map the input to the output. We had to find the function. Same case with deep learning. Here also, what is a model? Model is nothing but finding out functions which could actually build, or which could actually relate the input to the output, which could map the input to the output. So in this scenario, if we have several neurons in a deep network rather than one, so what will happen? We could use those neurons as different functions. Let's say our function is a huge combination of smaller functions. For example, I'll just show an example. Let's say I have a function, say y equals to sine of x plus let's say cos, not y, say cos x plus 5 into tan square x. Let us say this is the function. Okay, so x is input, y is the output. So this is the function that maps the input to the output. Okay, basic mathematics. So in that case, these particular things are nothing but some functions. We can relate it as say f1, f2 and f3. Just for example, we could write a function in Python, sine of x, cos of x, tan square of x, like that. Okay, and if we could do that, this is the entire function, right? we just broke it down into smaller functions so that we could calculate it very easily. Now, if I think these functions as different neurons, okay, in the last slide, you can see here, let's say this is F1, let us say this is F2, and this is F3. It would be very, very easy for us to manage such complex functions and break it down into smaller functions, right? So that we could also visualize it, and also we could calculate it very easily. So that was the most important reason why neural network was important, why multiple layers in the neural network was very important, so that we could introduce many neurons, right, in our neural network, and we could map the complex functions very easily. If we had to calculate very easy functions, then a perceptron could do it, right? But in real life, in our current scenario, we have so many like functions which are very complex and which could be very easily incorporated using a neural network. So these two are the primary reasons why the neural network was very much required. Okay, so I hope the requirement of this neural network is very clear to you, and obviously there will be many questions how this neural network works, what happens behind the scenes. There are many concepts like back propagation, forward propagation. Okay, there are concepts like dropout and all that, how it works, how to solve overfitting, and how the training actually happens behind the scene. That is the most primary question, right? I'm just showing you a diagram, and you must be wondering, in machine learning we simply minimized an optimization function and we trained the model. But in deep learning, how it happens? I have shown you a diagram of neural network and how it works. So I will show you next to the next video. I'll show you how actually a training process happens in deep learning behind the scene. Before that, I'll show in the next video, I'll show you a notation of how the neural network is going to be used in our further videos, just for the notation. And after that, next video will be of training a single neuron. I'll use a single neuron and I'll show you how the training actually happens behind the scene, and then you will have an idea how it works. Okay, so stay with me. See you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.